Single dad comes home to find his CEO cleaning his house. Her reason left him in tears. When Adam pushed open the front door that evening, he expected nothing more than the familiar silence that always greeted him after a long day. His shoulders ached from lifting concrete forms. His hands were rough and dusty, and his mind was already running through the routine ahead check. Lily's homework: make something quick for dinner. Clean up, sleep, repeat. The house smelled faintly of dish soap, which struck him as odd because he was sure he had left the sink full that morning. He stepped further inside, setting his work bag down, and then he froze. In the kitchen, standing at his sink as if she belonged there, was a woman he recognized instantly: Emily Carter, the CEO of the company where he worked. The same woman whose calm, commanding voice echoed through boardroom meetings and company-wide video calls. She had her sleeves rolled up, her hair loosely falling around her face, and she was washing his dishes. For a moment, Adam thought exhaustion had finally pushed him over the edge. He blinked, took a slow breath, and looked again. She was still there. Plates stacked neatly in the drying rack, water running softly. Her movements unhurried and practiced. His heart began to pound, and his grip tightened on the doorframe. Emily Carter did not belong in his kitchen. She belonged in high-rise offices, private elevators, and glossy magazine covers. Not here, not in his small, slightly cluttered home where the paint on the walls was chipped and the refrigerator hummed louder than it should. His bag slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a dull thud. Emily turned at the sound. Their eyes met, and instead of surprise or embarrassment, her expression held something gentler, almost relief. "You're home," she said, as if she had been expecting him at any moment. Her voice was quieter than it was at work, stripped of its usual authority, and that alone unsettled him even more. Adam opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. His mind raced through possibilities, each one more unbelievable than the last. Had something happened at work? Was he in trouble? Was Lily sick? Emily shut off the tap, dried her hands on a towel, and gestured toward the small kitchen table. "Please, sit down," she said calmly. "I promise I'll explain." Adam sat, though his legs felt weak beneath him. He watched her move around his kitchen, noticing details he had never imagined seeing. Before, how the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company carefully lined up his mismatched plates. How she avoided the loose tile near the sink as if she had already learned where it wobbled. She poured him a glass of water and placed it in front of him. "You look like you've had a long day," she said. He let out a short, humorless laugh. "Every day is a long day," he replied, finally finding his voice. "I just don't understand why you're here." Emily took a seat across from him, folding her hands together. For a brief second, she hesitated, as if choosing the right words mattered more than anything else. "Today," she began, "I spent most of my time reviewing reports, numbers, charts, productivity metrics, and your name kept appearing in places most people don't look twice at." Adam frowned. "I don't do anything special," he said. "I just work." She nodded. "Exactly. You work extra shifts. You never take unnecessary days off. Your performance reviews are consistently strong. And yet your file also mentions something else." She paused. "You re a single father." The word father landed heavier than any performance metric ever could. Adam straightened slightly. "Yes," he said. "My wife passed away 3 years ago." Emily's gaze softened. "I know," she said quietly. "I read that too. And I kept wondering how someone manages all of this alone." Adam shrugged. "You don't manage. You just keep going." He didn't realize how raw that sounded until he saw the look on her face. Before Emily could respond, small footsteps padded down the hallway. Lily appeared in the doorway, clutching a stuffed rabbit, her hair slightly messy from her afternoon nap. She looked from Adam to Emily without a hint of fear or confusion. "Hi," she said brightly. "Are you the lady from Daddy's work?" Emily smiled and nodded. "Yes, I am." Lily stepped closer, studying her with open curiosity. "You're washing dishes," she observed. "Daddy hates washing dishes." Adam felt his ears burn, but Emily laughed softly. "Then it's a good thing I don't," she replied. Lily seemed satisfied with that answer and wandered back toward her room, already losing interest. The simplicity of the moment struck Adam deeply. For Lily, this was just another adult in their home, nothing extraordinary. For him, it felt like the world had tilted on its axis. Dinner that night was simple leftover pasta warmed on the stovebutt. Emily insisted on helping. They ate together at the small table, the conversation careful but genuine. Emily asked Lily about school, about her favorite stories, about the drawings taped to the refrigerator. Adam watched the exchange, a knot tightening in his chest. He couldn't remember the last time someone had taken such an interest in their small, ordinary life. After Lily was tucked into bed, the house grew quiet again. Emily returned to the kitchen, wiping the counter one last time. Adam leaned against the doorway, exhaustion finally catching up with him. "You still haven't told me the real reason you're here," he said. Emily turned to face him, her expression serious now. "I know," she replied, "and I will. But I needed to see this first. Your life. Not the version that fits into a report." She took a deep breath. Because sometimes understanding doesn't come from meetings. It comes from standing where someone else stands. Adam felt something stir inside. Him confusion, gratitude, and a fear he couldn't quite name. Whatever reason had brought her here, he sensed it was about to change more than just this evening. Emily stood quietly in the kitchen for a moment, as if gathering the courage to say what she had come to say. The hum of the refrigerator filled the silence between them, and Adam became painfully aware of how small the space felt with such a powerful figure standing inside it. When she finally spoke, her voice had lost every trace of corporate polish. "I didn't come here as your CEO tonight," she said. "I came here as someone who once lived a life very similar to yours." Adam looked at her, surprised. She went on to explain that she had grown up in a home where her father worked long hours and her mother carried the weight of the household alone. There were nights when dinner was late, mornings when money was short, and days when no one asked how tired her parents really were. "I learned early how easy it is for people like us to become invisible," she said. She admitted that somewhere along her climb to the top, she had forgotten that lesson. Success had wrapped her life in comfort and distance. People spoke to her through assistants, emails, and reports. Human struggle had become abstract. "When I saw your file today," she continued, "it wasn't your performance that stayed with me. It was the silence. No complaints, no requests, just endurance." Adam felt his throat tighten. He had never thought of his quiet survival as anything worth noticing. To him, it was simply what had to be done. Emily told him that after reading his profile, she left the office without telling anyone where she was going. She drove past neighborhoods she hadn't seen in years, trying to remember what it felt like to come home, exhausted but still have someone depending on you. "I didn't plan to clean your house," she said, with a faint smile. "I just wanted to see how you lived. And once I was here, it felt wrong to just stand and watch." Adam let out a shaky breath. "You don't owe me anything," he said. "I chose this life." Emily shook her head gently. "You didn't choose to carry it alone," she replied. She then told him about a decision she had made earlier that day. The company, she said, was changing how it treated people like Adam people who gave everything and asked for nothing. Flexible hours, remote options when possible, childcare support, and real understanding instead of empty praise. And I want you to help me shape it, she added. Adam stared at her, disbelief washing over him. Why me? He asked. Emily didn't hesitate. Because you know what it costs when support is missing. The weight of her words finally broke through the wall. Adam had built around himself for years. His eyes burned, and before he could stop them, tears spilled down his face. He covered his mouth, ashamed of the sound that escaped him. But Emily didn't look away. She let the moment exist without interruption. I've spent so long pretending I'm fine, he said hoarsely. I didn't think anyone would care if I wasn't. Emily's eyes glistened. I care, she said simply. And so should the place where you give most of your life. When Emily finally left that night, the house felt different. Nothing had physically changed, yet everything had. Adam sat alone at the kitchen table, listening to Lily's soft breathing from her room, feeling lighter than he had in years, for the first time since his wife's death. He felt seen not as a statistic, not as a worker, but as a father doing his best. The next morning, when he walked into work, he carried that feeling with him. And though the world hadn't suddenly become easier, it had become kinder, and sometimes that was enough to keep going.